Everyone to today's chat, and I hope my screen is visible. Please give me some. Yeah, great. So what I'm going to do today is talk a little bit about what people call situational awareness. Okay, and I'll discuss where the name comes from and what does it actually mean, and how is it helpful for traders on any day, not just today, not just in current market conditions. In any condition, it's going to help you if you sort of practice situational awareness. Okay, now I have to be honest with you and tell you that I don't 100% know how to get my point across about situational awareness, but I know mota mota what it means, and that's what I'm gonna tell you guys today. Okay, so before that on the this front, hide flag front, what we have is we don't have much new names, right? So what we'll do is we'll quickly look at the couple of the red marks already, but we'll do that in a minute, and maybe we'll also go through this if time permits, but we will go through the names after we discuss about situational awareness. Okay, so this was something which I had already started last year. That's why it's 2023 here, and basically I was trying to fill this in, uh, with basically blocks of thought, which for my own understanding the system a little better, as well as then if someday like today comes when I had to discuss it. So in one sentence, what does situational awareness mean? Situational awareness basically means that uh, your your action in the market aligns with what the general market is also doing. uh, that that awareness is basically called situational awareness. Okay, and this is the best way in one line to define it, right? So some examples of what I just meant by this single line is, remember our remember this, right? So about market health, this is basically situational awareness, like very in a very daft manner, that you want to be bullish in the you want to be a long trader only when the situation is bullish, only when the market health is bullish, right? So that is basic situation awareness, and this basic situational awareness we all have. Okay, now a little bit more, deeper awareness would be, in my opinion, has three different sort of things. Okay, one is like taking, if you are going to enter in the market, so the first question is like how much exposed you are to in the market should also be in line with the market bullishness or bearishness, right? So for that, let's say if you see CNX, if you see the markets right now, the awareness that this whole structure, which is a bearish, which is a rising wedge, is a bearish structure, and being a bearish structure, there is a higher probability of market going to break this structure, hence uh, not being fully invested, or not being exposed to higher risk in the market, is basically a situational awareness, right? So similarly, on similar lines, depending upon where the market is right now, where the general market is right now, and by where I mean, is it bouncing? Is it near a resistance? Is it not bouncing but near a support? So depending upon where the market currently is in the market structure, what are the kind of entries you take is also a part of situational awareness, right? So if you remember, on these days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday, these 3 days, if you go back and look at what are the kind of entries did we hunt as part of the high tide flag exercise. In these days we exclusively hunted for PBAs because bounce तो आया ही नहीं था Tuesday को. I mean on this day, on this day to market fall, and on this day we exclusively looked for PVCs, that okay, these are the names which tomorrow might give you an entry which is bouncing back, right? So that exercise was an exercise which was basically done about market awareness. So this morning, okay, I'll talk about that, right? So now the second thing again which comes in an example of situational awareness is, let's say if you even on today's date, when the market is hugging the resistance. Now hugging the resistance means there are two things: one, it will reject the resistance; one, it will break out the resistance, right? So situational awareness is also about like waiting for the confirmation. Now because you know that market is still not broken out, if you still want to take a breakout entry, then situational awareness would be to see that which are the strong groups in the market, which are the strong stocks in the market. Although the market is like that, are there some groups which are breaking out, and if there are, then my breakout entries would have to specifically be from that group, right? So one of the examples today was somebody shared pharma sector stock, which although did a squat at the end of the day, but this would also be a good way, good example of situational awareness, saying that okay, like if this guy is breaking out, then I'm going to look for pharma stocks to go long on a breakout, not on a pullback, but on a breakout, right? So this is one example again. Now the other example of, in my opinion, and this is not what many people discuss, but pattern morphing and the general market structure is also an example of market situational awareness. Okay, so these are the three, in my opinion. This is where I would classify, and maybe I will add some more examples to this. But for now, so now what's pattern morphing, right? So I'll give you an example of IRIDA here. If you remember, someone in the group did ask on Saturday here in the group, saying that is IRIDA extended now, or is there still a reversal? The reversal which happened from the bottom, is a reversal still there, right? So if my answer to that was the peak entry. So my entry was on this day, that was a PBA, pullback anticipation of this pullback bounce. Now the second entry then opened up was on Friday, which was PBC. So the best entries would be either on this day or this day, right? So on Saturday, what I said was, this right now is not a great entry. Why? Because of the possibility of IRIDA coming back and testing the previous low. Now, why did I say this? This is because I know how stocks reverse, right? There are only 3 or 4 structures which a stock make when they reverse. One is a double bottom. One is when they make a higher low, and if it makes a higher low, then it sort of makes a ascending triangle as a reversal pattern. So this would be the second way. So and the third one is, of course, there is a breakout. Now, why, in my opinion, this third possibility of the breakout was not so high? When I say not so high, because see, if in my so all these 3 possibilities, you have to assign a probability, right? So let's say this probability was more than 50%. Then you say that okay, you can take an entry here because probability is sort of in your favor, right? But the third possibility of a 1 to 3 days momentum becoming a 4-day momentum, 5th-day momentum was low. Why? Because markets are again dicey and not at a place where we are bullish, right? So this is also a example of a situational awareness. The another example of situational awareness was PC Jewelers today. PC Jewelers was crossing the O'Neill pivot. why today, if you are not holding PC Jewelers, why was today a day which was not a good entry? Because the general market is not confirmed a breakout. Okay, that is one number one reason. Now, why was entering here a great time? Because this was the February Wednesday was the time where, I mean, of one, it was a higher low and also very tight structure breaking out. Second was also during this time, sort of the markets were pulling back. Sorry, markets were trying to like find a bounce, right? And that's why this is also part of situational awareness कि why आज इधर तो नहीं लेना चाहिए, ठीक है? So I hope there is some clarity on situational awareness. We will definitely talk more about this and more examples, and we will sort of start using the word more. Now, from where I learned the word was from Pradeep Bonde. Pradeep Bonde is more famously known from by Stock B, and he is the one who basically introduced me to the word. I mean, conceptual wise, it's a concept which everyone can understand and everyone can sort of see, but this guy sort of put a name on that and made this thing more and more visible, and made other traders like us feel the importance of this more. So what Pradeep does is every morning he wakes up and sort of goes into a meditation phase where he visualizes the market. Now visualization is a next level thing, right? So now what you can visualize, so what you can visualize is that, okay, so let's say tomorrow 8:30 you come in near the screen and you visualize. What do you visualize? Visualize all possible harkat what the market can do. One is like a legit bullish force, right? Uh, so if that is the case, then you see that how would the stocks behave if this is gonna be true. Then you already know कि मेरे को इस स्क्रीन में कैसे स्टॉक्स दिखेंगे, कितने ठू स्टॉक्स दिखेंगे, how will I feel looking at this stock going like this, going like that, so then you imagine that, and then okay, if that happens I will see this, and if that happens I will probably take this step, which is enter here, enter there, blah blah blah. Now then you also imagine कि अच्छा bro अगर ये करेगा, if it breaks down, then what kind of market breadth numbers I am going to see, what are the how much red I am going to see, what I am going to do with the positions I am holding, right? What is going to be my course of action, and if this guy moves sideways, then how would the market look, then what I'm going to do, right? So this is also a part of your routine of like visualizing the markets. This is also part of situational awareness, right? So Pradeep Bonde also extensively uses this net up down, the 4% advanced decline breadth data, and his take is again basically very simple, right? So markets, everything is fractal, everything is cyclical, everything moves back to the mean, yes? Everything snaps back to the mean. So net up down का mean around about zero है, bullish में थोड़ा ऊपर में जा चलता है mean, and bearish times में zero से नीचे चलता है. And the thing is, if it is a negative number, it will not stay negative forever, bearishness will not be super bearishness will also then give like a bounce, and when that bounce comes, then things will not for forever become too bullish, right? And so it's about getting the idea of how these cycles are playing out, uh, and that will come by looking at past data, right? So that's why when things go here, then you already anticipate and visualize that ये होएगा, ये माने क्या, bounce. And when the bounce comes, you use your situational awareness to think which are the stocks which are going to give me the less risk and the highest reward, and that would be the PBA and PBC setups, right? When let's say tomorrow, day after tomorrow, if markets are bullish, then I know how the net 4% data would look like. This will stay here like this, जैसे ये like it's staying above zero and bouncing from the just above the zero line, right? I will know that a bullish markets will have the numbers above this one. and then I will target more breakouts, because I know that if breakout comes, then I can have 3-4 days of for follow through, right? So he heavily uses this data, and I think I also have this data somewhere. I'll the link to that would be on this community watch list. So the Homma momentum score, if you open this, the 4% up down ratio, this also again Pradeep Bonde uses. Okay, again this is a derived data from the 4% up down data. What here we do is we basically instead of just plotting the 4% up down, the net 4%, this one, what we have done is we have plotted the ratio. So the 5-day up divide by 5-day down, 10-day up divide by 10-day down ratio. And again the same sort of cyclical nature you've observed in this, in the 4% up down data, in the 4% up down data will also be the same in this. It's just that the numbers will be different. So you know that on a 5-day cycle you will have a you will have a highly bought, overbought time and a underbought time, right? So now where are we? We are at a underbought time, and we know that overcut, what's the opposite of overbought? Underbought, right? So we also know that this underbought time will not be forever. Oversold. Yeah, see, yeah, it's India is not for beginners, man. So and oversold, right? So the oversold conditions will not stay forever, right? So then if you closely follow this or this, again potato is, this all comes from the primary data of 4% up down, and then you will know that when this guy crosses above this 2, so the ratio above 2 is basically sounds bullish, right? So then you can basically time the ups and downs of the market closely, and as a swing trader there is nothing better than doing that. Okay, so that level of understanding will come with more experience, more watching, more experiential learning, right? So that's all I had on this. Now what I'll do is I'll go through because this is a highlight flag session, I'll go through the highlight flag, but before that I will also show you the sector rotation and basically the relative strength in the market. Okay, so let's see today what the groups were strong. Okay, so you can do that in 3 ways in here. You can either see which indices were strong today, and that will give you that is basically a proxy of the group strength. You can also see on an average from a sector, what kind of return did they give on an average, right? So if I sort this from best to worst, you can see that aerospace and defense did really well today, right? So if you click here, then see, hey, like you always go and cross check on the chart, okay? Because the chart is the ultimate data. Sometimes these guys charting people fuck up this data, so sometimes I don't believe them also. So then if you click aerospace and defense, and now aerospace and defense is clicked, you can see that which is the guy who made the highest noise today. Again here percentage change, you can sort it from highest to, you can see data patterns, Zentech, solar industry, Rosel, BEL, HAL, you know, these guys were relatively better. Because why I say relatively, because this thing is also relative. If everything is 2% minus 2% down, if these guys were minus 1%, they were the outperformers, right? Everything is 10% down. If these guys are 5%, then they are also relative underperformers, right? So these sector was doing well today. Now let's see what were the other sectors which were also doing. So oil we know, everyone knows oil was like really good. So यहाँ पे I see finance, right? So I'm a little surprised, like why is finance in the list, right? Because we know that like a lot of like the big banks and those guys were not doing well until recently. So if I click finance, then I see that okay, inside finance also these guys have clubbed it in 3 different bins. One is the term lending institutions, one is the housing finances, and one is this whatever this is, finance investment, right? So if you see today which group did best and which pulled the relative strength above is the finance and investment. Okay, तो यहाँ पे कौन कौन से stocks आते हैं? You will see that all the Anand Rathi, Tata Invest, all these guys, you know, these guys were doing well. And again, if you see percentage change, who were the top guys in this? You see NSIL, I don't know who this is, Tata Invest, Pilani, Dolat, blah 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 blah. Okay, and then there are other also who dragged. So the lending institutions, which are basically okay, let me get rid of this, which are the IRFCs and those guys. Those are actually they're giving up whatever they made, right? So the Rec PFC, these guys, so TFCI, IFCI, these guys are doing not so great in that space. um, so so this is also then like you can also use this data to funnel your into your relative strength, sorry, not relative, your situational awareness funnel and make it more stronger, saying that hey, I will look at this to also time a lot of stuff, right? um, so coming back to, yeah, so coming back again here, finance reality, we know that we know that oils, realty, PSEs, these are very strong sectors. So if you see on a indices level, which are the strongest indices today? CPSE, oil, energy. So these are the three most strongest stocks, right? So now given the fact that you know that these are the three stronger stocks, tomorrow if bullishness comes back in the market, and which is ultimately visible on a Nifty 500 chart with a strong like bullish Marubozu, tell me which are the stocks you should go and buy. we, the stocks which you are going to buy should come from which sector? If it doesn't come from these sectors, then what's the point? You see my point, right? So that is how we basically use this data also to fuel up. Now, if people don't, there are some people who don't like numbers, and I am actually one of them. I really don't like numbers because this doesn't make any sense to me. What makes sense to me is patterns. Now that is why I also have the similar data in this format, and this is basically indices rolling 20-day return. Okay, so if you see here, if you see which during the late Jan to late February, which were the sectors that did the best from here? Okay, so the answer is the ones which are on the top, and you see the ones which are on the top are PSU banks. Did you notice that PSU banks were huge rally, one way rally during last month? Yes. Oil and gas, it is also at the top. Nifty CPSE, this is also at the top. CNX energy, this green line is also at the top. So this is like, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see this chart and see, oh, these guys are strong, and these guys have already been strong since some time. Now you see reality, this was the time when reality was bam 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 bam, again here also bam bam bam. Now what's it, now kya ho raha hai, matlab? So then here we zoom in, right? So you see this guy who is like popping up. So surprisingly, Nifty PSU bank is giving you the highest return in the last 20 days, which means that ye dip, it hasn't like outright underperforming the other groups. So is there a chance that Nifty PSU will start again outperforming in the near future? The answer is yes. Okay, so when that happens, what will you see in the group? In the group, you will see in the Nifty PSU banks doing more as a group, and when that happens, you just have to make sure you pick one or two, put 10%, that's it, you know. So basically those are the things which you can do to, you know, better your see the what is this, situational awareness is basically doing things in line to what the market is also doing, right? And in simple words, go bullish when the market is bullish, don't get out of the market when it is sideways or bearish, right? And the higher level of this what I've just told you is basically situational awareness. So I will stop here, and what I will now do is quickly go through the names and see, because at the end of the day we are still trading high tide flags if and when the time is right. So I still have not taken any more entries beyond Ganesha, Shobha, and the failed trade of Adani Power. And see, I am still hopeful that Ganesha and Shobha will, when the market sort of turns bullish, these guys will still do well. Now, if that happens, and if I see if I can catch Ganesha housing when it's breaking out of this pivot, I might add here. You know, of course, depending upon what other stuff are doing, right? So that is now. Shobha did really well today. So we can actually, I can actually imagine Shobha also breaking out of this, and if that happens, because we know it's from a strong sector reality, and in reality though the indices index names are doing even better than the rest, this is a very nice candidate for me to go long if I choose to, you know. And another way to cap your downside is, rather than using rather than um, searching for a new name, why not add to your existing positions, you know, because then you will have less number to manage also. Always make sure that you have open positions, only that many that you can manage. Like, what's the point of having 50 open positions? Am I right? So if it is hugely bullish and like left, right, center things are going out, okay, you can put, like, you can then say, okay, यहाँ भी जाऊँगा यहाँ बजे. But like when it's things are tight like this, you want to have the less number of moving variables, right? So number of stocks is also a variable which you should control. Okay, so yeah. So again, once you get in, you make sure respect your you respect your trade plan, respect your stop, right? For example, Kamdhenu, it sort of did not, this breakout did not materialize. So when you took a trade here, where was your stop loss? Now, depending upon your position size, your stop loss could have been here and could have been hit, or could have been here. If it is here, don't fiddle fuck with this guy, because you don't know tomorrow if the markets are bullish or not, right? So we've already discussed this. Yeah, so things are still setting up, okay? Things are still poised. There are so many setups. If the market turns bullish, we will have a plethora of setups to get into. Sun Pharma is a good setup, and tomorrow, if this guy breaks out of the 4 or 5% big candle, that's a legit entry. But then look back at markets and say, okay, how the markets are poised. If given this market condition, if I enter this, how much should my stop loss be, right? So those kind of calculations you should be able to do. So now, is this a high probability trade, you know? So if this anticipation was made a couple of days earlier, and it did play out like this, but now, because it is at the DTL base breakout, I would not anticipate an enter here. You know why? Because it probably has a slightly higher probability that it is gonna come back here and test the previous low or make a higher low. And once it makes a higher low and then is near the DTL base breakout, maybe that time anticipate. Okay, but right now, no, you don't anticipate that it's gonna base breakout, because chances are that it might not, you know. Okay, if the other scenario is that it is breaking out of this DTL base breakout, and you see that, okay, it's now also starting to break here, depending upon, okay, you see the volumes, and you see what are the other stock in the same groups are doing. Maybe if they are doing all well, maybe you can enter that. Okay, so those type of trading decisions you have to start making, you know. So here, so tomorrow, let's say tomorrow, if there is a gap up open. Now I'm not saying gap up like huge gap up 5-6%, but like this is what people call strong start. So if there is a 1 or 2% gap up, what does that mean? That means that Hoodco had a very high demand overnight. Okay, because high demand over मतलब high मतलब क्या, relatively high, because there was a relatively higher demand. That's why Hoodco already opened 2% up. Now, can you then anticipate that this guy will go back up till here? Yes, you can anticipate. Now, why? Because your risk if that trade fails is very small. So, for example, let's say if you get let's say if you get an entry here, like it's a 2%, this one. So then what you can do is like you can use a 3-minute orb or a 5-minute orb to basically at least get a trade with 1.5 hour or 2 hour, you know, and have a very small stop loss. You can even have like yesterday's opens day low, you know. So that is another way. So here, like for example, if tomorrow you get an entry at this point, like let's say you are anticipating that trill is going to make a 4 or 5% of kind of a kind of a move today, and you enter on third minute or fourth minute candle or fifth minute candle, 6 minute candle, 9:20, 9:21. Once you saw that the first 3 or 5 minute candle was bullish, if that is the case, now again depending upon the position sizing, you can either choose to put a stop loss which is like 2 rupees, 355 entry mila, 353 you have put your stop loss, or if your like size is small, you can even choose to put below this, right? So this is how you basically, and again once tomorrow in the morning, the breath also sort of becomes not clear, but at least gives you some sort of an idea, you know, um, um, how the market might going to be. So of course we can never like 100% be right in judging the probabilities, but with enough looking at the market every day, we will get very close, and the whole idea is to get as close as possible. So, like I said, there are so many opportunities still in the market. And I am just waiting for confirmation, right? So if I get a confirmation that things are going to be bearish, my existing position will also be cut. And if things will, अगर मेरे को दिखेगा कि things are probably going to get bullish, and as and when that happens, I will either enter, I'll mostly enter cheat breakouts, because that will give me smaller stop loss, and as well as give me breakout entries on the day when this market starts to move, right? So this is a situational awareness. What do you expect when a price on the third day of the momentum comes and shows bearishness at the previous pivot high? You expect supply, right? And so given already the fact that markets are not so bullish, what is a good thing to do as a swing trader is to take some off, sell into strength, because there can be a possibility that kal parso you can see this guy here, right? So start generating probabilities in your mind about the all possible outcomes a stock can do depending upon where our general markets are. And this is literally, you will not find like a calculation anywhere you look. You have to some part of it develop in a discretionary manner, and of course some part of it will come from numbers and real values from the breadth, but some part of it also is what makes all every trader different. Yeah. So so if you're seeing things like this is not surprising at all, because market itself is here. What would you expect market to do when it is near resistance? you know, more than 80%, 70% of the time it rejects. The price gets rejected, right? So okay, I'm gonna stop here. So you see, this guy, I remember when I was here, I noted that this is a stop volume because it had all the characteristics of a stop volume. And did it work as a stop volume? Yes, it did. Why? Because we got a bounce from the stop volume day. So on this day, entry would have been a PB anticipation entry. On this day, it would have been a PBC entry, or maybe on this day, you know. And I have been day trading IOC every day. This day, Saturday, I did not get any entry, but I day traded here, day traded this today. So right now, because my expectation, not expectation, my trade plan is very clear to me. I will not make new moves for swing positional until I get a clear confirmation. And until that happens, I will go hit and trial, like quick in, quick out mode, right? And hopefully not damage my account, right? Because hit and try also damages my account, and I have experienced that really well in 2022. So I also have to be careful with that. um, Again, so these are all very nicely set up. Now if you see, for example, right now, okay, Bank of Maharashtra looks good. And let's see this guy also, Hindustan Petroleum, looks really good. So you know that this guy is from energy, oil and gas. And uh, would it be a wise thing to sort of anticipate this tomorrow, that this guy is going to break out tomorrow? And if that is your anticipation, then would it be wise to already open this chart before the market opens, to see that if there is some bullishness which I can detect before the market opens? Yes, in my opinion, that would be wise, you know. So rather than having like, okay, ab kya hoga, kya hoga, kya hoga, like, do some anticipation, think that this guy might do this, and then already be ready for that, you know. Okay, I will stop here and I will start taking questions, and hopefully by 9 we will finish. And the moment the clock hits 9, I will start talking about the indicator. Okay, let's go. Who has questions? Priyank, go ahead. Yeah. So, Renaissance Global is basically right now making a flag. And yeah, so bullish. This stock is definitely bullish. And the supply is getting lesser and lesser every day. Um, and also a very small market cap company. So whenever this guy who bought here decides to buy more, it will go up again. Huh. Uh-huh. Right. Right. Amazing. Amazing. See, yes. So you tell me now. Let's discuss about what and all entries are you. Do you have a classification of different kind of entries at least in your head? Hmm. Sure. 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 Yeah, so great. But that would still not be very ideal entry, because you know that there was two pivot here and here, and price was still not confirmed breakout over that. समझ रहे हो आप? So your entry was a bit of an anticipation. Okay, so had it been uberly bullish market condition, उबरली बुलिश मार्केट कंडीशन में क्या होता है कि ठीक है, मोस्ट stocks which are showing bullishness, at the end of the day they turn bullish and this remain bullish, right? Because you know that market is not bullish. Then in my opinion that entry would not have been a good entry. Now at least you should have waited for this downtrend line to break down, break out. Now if you are part of the high tide flag trading group, there are these many entries, okay? I mean, at least I classify my entries as one of these six. O'Neill pivot entry was not there, cheat pivot entry was not there, DTL base breakout was also not there. Now the best PBC and PBA, they were also not very clear, because this is like every day it is closing below, either making a lower high or making a lower low, one of these that. So that means the predominant trend here was bearish, and you can see that when you go to a 30-minute candle. Whenever you are not sure, go to 30-minute candle and see a more magnified view, right? So clearly ये downtrend में है, right? And even if you say that okay, this guy, see, this was a very clear pivot one. So I imagine you probably entered here 10:45 or maybe on 9:15, this one. So yeah, so there was no entry here. This was just an anticipation. I would even club this as a FOMO entry, uh, because you had already de-risked your position. You now wanted to get a good price, and you also didn't want the stock to run, right? And again, I'm not ridiculing you or something, but this happens, and this happens with all of us, happens with me also. Like today I did a FOMO entry on IRFC on the first or third minute, okay? But now I also have generated the emotional intelligence to cut my trade as soon as it goes below my already planned stop loss. This happens. So in my opinion, this was not an entry. The entry would have been at least above this guy, or later in the day. What also happens is that okay, ये अभी lower higher low बना के बैठा है. So let's say this guy happened like that, and then the breakout happened. So in that case, this would still have been a DTL breakout entry, and I could still make a case that okay, this entry was still like under like sound technical entry, right? But no entry today, man. You're welcome, man. You're welcome. If it's a T-plus, what is the time frame I need to use? 30 minutes. Guru, sir, can you please explain me this question better? So you are a T+5 trader. I don't understand what this particular T+5 trader means. Does it mean that you trade in 5 minutes time frame? Yeah. So can you please explain this a little bit better? And by that time, I will take Mohit if you have some question. Hello, Mohit. Good evening. No, we are not considering Nifty to be bearish. That's not what I said. I'm sure you have not heard that. It's inside a bearish structure. Mm-hmm. See, you can consider this probably if you are a trader who, I don't know if you can say that that's a macro thing, or that's just a plain correlation. ठीक है कि like last two elections के time पे this month was bullish, right? Now that month, those months could be bullish due to a variety of reasons, and not because at that time there is a election, right? So maybe a value was more, maybe we were at the beginning of an uptrend, I don't know. Right now we are definitely not at the beginning of an uptrend, and not, I'm sure if you go back and look at lot of election months, I am sure the probability of election months being bullish is, I don't know, 50%. So if that is the case, then you don't have any edge there. And at the end of the day, if I speak about myself, I am a price action trader. I will see price. I will first wait for price to tell me, bro, I am bullish, and only then act on it, right? So, to answer your question, partially, I don't have the data or the information or the knowledge to use election as my go-to indicator. I only consider about price, because if the price is moving because of the event, the price eventually has to move, right? So yes, the highs have broken out. The how the Yeah, gone. I see. Yes, that's a very good question. Okay, so I have two parts answer to that. One is, although we are making higher highs on the index, the at least the not the Nifty 50, but the Nifty 500, the area where I'm interested is actually a bearish structure. So this is a price action thing which you have to understand. What is happening right now is we are losing momentum. ठीक है. Now I will show you how we are losing momentum. Every bull swing, the momentum, the amount of paisa which we are making on the upside is getting smaller and smaller. First, this swing 7.26, the next swing 5.9, the next swing 4.3, the next swing, right now we are still on an upswing, 2.92. Okay, so this, what you are seeing right now, is a loss of momentum in price action. Yes, we are making higher highs, no doubt, but we also know that when the market is showing you this picture, the real breadth in the market is showing you a reverse picture, wherein we are having a lower high and lower low in almost all breadth indicators possibly imaginable. What this now means is, this might not be a true picture of the market. Underlying in the market, there might be loss of strength. Okay, if that is the case, then for me to go heavily on the upside, I need a huge Mithun Chakravarti candle here, which means that like full bullish Maribozu, open is equal to low and close is equal to high. That would mean that, okay, people with big money who can move the markets are back in. At that time, I will also get some sort of confirmation here, right? Now, again, saying this is a bearish structure. Okay. Now, the second thing about the world markets. Now, what's happening is a lot of world markets were sort of going sideways. Okay, and their breaking out and our breaking out is not the same. Okay, now if you see, uh, if you see how our markets have been and other markets have been, you will probably agree with me that Japan has, I mean, I just track a couple of them only. So let's go and see what's happening in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is at the double bottom. Possibly this is going to move up. Uh, Korea is going sideways. Japan recently broke out. January 2024 it broke out. Okay, so Japan possibly is at a newer upswing, whereas India is already like 9, 10, 11 months now, right? So we cannot compare this guy and where we as a market are right now. Australia has been sideways for quite some time. Okay, you can say this is breaking out, but again, this is a very fresh breakout. Not sure. This guy, I don't know which. This is TA 125. This is what. This is Israel. S- Sideways, just breaking out. China. China, matlab they don't know. China is at the bottom, right? So there are a couple of new names. So Germany is broke out 3 weeks ago. France probably broke out couple of weeks. UK is still sideways. So what I'm trying to say is we Indian markets is at a little different stage than a lot of other markets, and we just cannot compare. Now the point you are making is again valid कि हाँ मतलब world में बहुत सारे markets are actually breaking out, so wouldn't that also push us? That can be a very valid this one to push us. But again, coming back to the way we trade as price action traders is purely with confirmation. If it is not confirming, I will argue with God also ki bro, let me see the confirmation, right? So that's the only way where I know how to manage my risk. Thanks for the question, Mohit. All right, we still have 10 minutes. So holding for 5 days maximum, I guess. Okay, Guruji, I understood your question. So if you are a person who wants to, whose average trade is a 5 day long trade, then what is the time frame I need to use? So you can use 30-minute time frame for sure. You can also use see 30 minutes, 60 minute. I don't think it matters too much. Okay, just make sure that the swing on the daily has a potential to give you at least 3 days of uptrend, and that you enter on day one of that swing, right? So probably pullback confirmations are very good names for you to hold, because pullback once confirmed, then they at least go 2 or 3 days up, and then you sell, or break out from a very tight zone, because when you enter on the day one of the breakout of the very tight zone, you get a small stop loss, and you also get a couple of 2 3 days of up move. So you can use 30 75, both works. I don't think that will make much of a difference. The day I purchase, I just want to close the trade within 6 days by getting some through. In the case for the time frame, I should select to trade. Hi Dharmesh. Who's this? Hi Manik. Huh? Hmm. See, putting a stop loss looking at your average loss is not a good idea at all, in my opinion. Why? Because if if the data which generated your average loss did not have a system for you wherein you put a decent, where you did not have a decent system where your stop loss were put, that will actually like that the then your average loss data is not a very good data to look back into. And you should also without knowing what is your average gain with an average stop loss, or a loss of -8%, what is your average gain, without knowing that, you don't know that your system was good in the first place. Okay, so if your average loss was -8%, and if your average gain was like just +9% or +10%, was it a good system? I don't know, because I don't know what's your hit rate, right? So in my opinion, stop loss is a function of two things. One, definitely the price structure, price pattern and price structure. That is what we as price action traders are trading. So my go-to would be price action, right? So let's say sometimes what happens is that you have a higher stop loss depending on the pivot. In that case, you manage by uh, varying your position size. So if you have a 10% position and you are taking a 10% stop loss, Suddenly you have a 15% position, 15 minus 15% stop loss, then you take a 7.5% position to manage your risk. So I really don't think it's a good idea to have your to this is a look back, rear view mirror system hai. You're looking at your trades where they were clipped, and because see, in a bullish conditions your stop loss will not be clipped very easily, whereas in a sideways market your stop loss will be clipped. But if you are still using a stop loss which is conducive for a bullish market in a bearish or a sideways market, then that's not very a nice thing to do. Anil says, "Hi Dharmesh, go ahead." हाँ जी. हम्म. ज़रूर ज़रूर ज़रूर, वो जो भी बोल रहा है ठीक बोल रहा है वो. नहीं, आपका बच्चा जो भी बोल रहा है वो सही बोल रहा है. हाँ जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी. हाँ तो एग्जैक्टली, एग्जैक्टली, एग्जैक्टली. तो मैं सेकंड क्वेश्चन का जवाब पहले देता हूँ. देखिए, आप एंटीसिपेशन में घुसे, इसका मतलब आप ऑलरेडी आपको पता है कि भाई अब नीचे जा सकता है, इन दैट केस आपका स्टॉप लॉस विल टेक केयर ऑफ इट, या भाई ऊपर जा सकता है, इन दैट केस आपका ट्रेड सक्सेसफुल होएगा. एंड यू ऑलरेडी हैव टू ऑल्सो प्लान कि अगर मेरा ट्रेड सक्सेसफुल हुआ तो कितने रुपए पे मैं काटूंगा इसको, कितना कैरी करूंगा दोस्त. तो दैट इज बेसिकली पार्ट ऑफ प्लान योर ट्रेड ऑलरेडी अहेड. एंड द थर्ड केस इज, जैसे आपने बोला कि तीन चार और साइडवेज कैंडल डाल सकता है, आपका जो ट्रेड प्लान है दैट शुड ऑल्सो ऑलरेडी इंक्लूड कि ये पॉसिबिलिटी है, राइट. सो अगर वो हो गया, साइडवेज हो गया, तो देख रहे हो कि आप एस एल भी नहीं ले रहा है, ऊपर भी नहीं जा रहा है, देन यू हैव टू लुक एट कि वो जो साइडवेज कैंडल बना रहा है वो कैसा बना रहा है. इज इट, are the sided candles tight enough with low volume, so that we know that okay, kal ya parso the up move should come, right? So in that case, then it's probably prudent to wait for some days. If the kind of price volume action during the sideways action is not conducive or is not like good, then maybe you should cut your trade, you know. सो मैं इतना ज़्यादा पुल बैक एंटीसिपेशन लेता नहीं हूँ, तो मेरे को एकदम बिल्कुल इन एंड आउट मैं आपको नहीं समझा पाऊँगा ये. But during sideways market, I trade a lot of PBAs, pullback anticipation. So maybe at that time we'll have more insights. Now about the first thing, तो ये जो इंट्राडे चीज़ है, इंट्राडे में सिचुएशनल अवेयरनेस आप कैसे ला सकते हो, I'll tell you. So this is my experience with intraday, and there are certain ways to have more hits. Okay, so generally हम लोग क्या करते हैं, मतलब मैं क्या करता था एक टाइम पे, I used to try to be very uh, let me check on time. I have only 1 minute, so this would be the last question. Okay, so मैं क्या करता था, generally I try to look at stocks which are like hovering around 0%, 1%, -2%, and भाई इसका पूरा full मेरे को चाहिए. But that's a very wrong way to do. You should, if you are going long intraday, you should already choose stocks which are already 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10% up, because you know कि momentum लेके जाएगा उसको और आगे, right? So if your stock selection is good, your intraday results will be so much better. Now another thing, you can also use market breadth data to time the market well. So for example, अगर मैं आपको breadth data में दिखाऊं, and if this is not in the breadth data, I will share this with you. Okay, so for example today ORB 5, right? ओपन रेंज ब्रेकडाउन ज़्यादा हो रहे थे या ओपन रेंज ब्रेकआउट ज़्यादा हो रहे थे, तो क्लियरली ब्रेकडाउन ज़्यादा हो रहे थे, राइट. सो market is was not conducive today to go long intraday as well. Now second thing you can see is, if you can see this intraday 1 minute का AD line. तो 1 minute का AD line जब नीचे आ रहा होता है, then there is no point going long, बिकॉज पता है कि मार्केट अभी, बिकॉज सी द सिक्लिकलिटी ऑफ द मार्केट कैन बी सीन इन ऑल टाइम फ्रेम्स. वन मिनट में भी, 0.1 मिनट में भी दिखेगा आपको, 1 सेकेंड में भी दिखेगा, वीकली में भी दिखेगा, राइट. सो so if you are going intraday, then it is better to see the cyclicality in a smaller time frame. तो मैं 1 minute का time frame देखता हूँ. So had you gone long intraday around here, मार्च 4 तारीख, आज बिल्कुल सुबह सुबह, this is, yeah. So if you are going intraday here, then this is not a good idea. If you are doing intraday here, this is not a good idea. So similarly on a 75-minute resolution, the same thing is, आज पूरा दिन ये चार्ट नीचे आया, that means today was not conducive for intraday long. Whereas when this was happening from 9:15 February 29 till here, it was a time conducive for longs intraday, right? So this is also how you can incorporate breadth data to do. And I think I did not answer your question. It is possible to come back from a one-day battle where you are hit. I mean, you just take your time, move away from your screen, and get refreshed and come back the next day, you know. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question at all, but यही सब है. Exactly. Plus also your stock selection has to be पक्का. तो आज देखिए, today what the names I traded were very strong. I traded oil, I traded that thingy which 10% 15% मारा था. That one I traded a couple of other which were like already strong, like 5-6%, right? So you can't make money on a stock which intraday it is moved -1%, you know. So stock selection is, we will do a deep dive on intraday, man, like, so at that time we'll speak more. So what I'll do is I'll stop here and stop taking any questions. I am sorry if I'm unable to take any other questions, but now I think much more important topic which I have been ignoring, and people also have been ignoring, is that how to set up the Homma Khilabe indicator. Okay, so this is the Homma Khilabe indicator. You go you go here, and this one, you click here, and this is my indicator. Okay, so यहाँ पे आप लोग, the indicator will not show like this to you because I have saved it like this. If you've used it for the first time, then there will be like some different colorings and all. Okay, so what I'll do is I will quickly open this and show you inputs and style. Visibility में कुछ नहीं करना है आपको, input और style में थोड़ा थोड़ा change करना है. If you are using a white colored background, I use dark color. If you are using a white color background, then unclick the dark mode. Okay, if you are using a dark background, then click the dark mode first thing in inputs. Okay, तो देखिए, when I click the dark mode, this guy disappeared because dark mode में the akshars are in black color, right? So but I am in dark mode, the akshar should be in white color. Now what is this? So this is mini mode. Okay, let me go to something Sun Pharma. हाँ, so here I have unclicked the earnings table. तो आपको अगर earnings table चाहिए तो earnings table क्लिक कीजिए, तो यहाँ पे एक earnings table आ जाएगा. ठीक है, ये छोटा वाला टेबल है जो मैं यूज़ नहीं करता हूँ अभी. ये बड़ा वाला टेबल मैं यूज़ करता हूँ बिकॉज दिस इज़ फ्रॉम नितिन QE Pro. ठीक है, तो इसमें थोड़ा ज़्यादा डेटा आता है. तो इफ़ यू सी, दिस इज़ द दिस गाय, बट दिस गाय इज़ ऑल्सो लाइक वेरी वेरी यूजफुल. EPS पर एंड सेल्स डेटा आ जाता है लास्ट कुछ उसका. And if you want a little a mini version of this, if you say mini, this guy becomes small. This guy just shows you the what is the trend. Okay, but don't use mini, use the see the numbers. Okay, so now ये long mode में कितने आएंगे, I think you can also change this. Okay, so I've changed this to 8. तो last 8 quarters का result आ गया. ठीक है, तो you can also change this number. Now I'm switching this guy off, so this guy will disappear now. You can okay, in earnings table, what you can also do is you can change the location of the table. यू कैन से टॉप, तो टॉप में उधर चला जाएगा. सो इट्स गॉन हियर नाउ. वेयर इज इट? ओके, मे बी टॉप, मिडिल डालते हैं. Right, so it is come into middle. So those things you can do. um, this is not very important. And another thing you can also do is here, it is in financial quarterly, and you can also do yearly. तो यहाँ पे data yearly में change हो जाएगा. ठीक है. So March 16 15 20 16 17 18 20 so ऐसे आ जाएगा. So again, this is just for earnings table. Now the second thing we have is this table. Now this table is very interesting, and this table is full of data if you want to integrate this data into your decision making. The first on the top is ATR. So ATR stands for average true range. So what this guy tells you is that Sun Pharma advances in the last 14 days. ठीक है. ATR length 14 days है, तो 14 days का average लेता है. तो लास्ट 14 दिन में ऑन एन एवरेज डेली 4.93% भागा है. So then why this becomes helpful is if you trade a stock which has high ATR, then the probability that you will get a larger move is higher as compared to stock with a low ATR. So low ATR होएगा stocks which are in large caps, right? So large caps will move barely, like 2-3% move is a high move in there. So that is what. The second one is BBW. So the BBW stands for Bollinger Band Width. तो ये Bollinger Band Width माने क्या है? So Bollinger Band Width आपको दिखा देता हूँ. It's basically a indicator which basically plots the 21-day EMA, 21-day SMA. So ये yellow color is the 21-day SMA, and what it plots is standard deviation of price on +1 and -1 standard deviation. ठीक है. So then what happens is whenever price volatility gets smaller, so the two white bands engulfing this is the Bollinger Band Width. Okay. So Bollinger Band Width जितना भी लंबा होएगा, you know that the volatility, I mean there is a trend, and whenever it goes sideways, the Bollinger Band width becomes smaller and smaller, and it basically becomes very small. Now ऐसे तो दिख जाता है from just by looking at the stock price. We know that volatility is getting it is getting smaller and smaller, and that's why it's getting tighter and tighter. But if you have a problem seeing that, you can also use Bollinger Band width as a proxy to see if the stock is getting tight or not. Okay, so in my mind, anything below 10% Bollinger Band width is very tight. Okay, so for example, let's say let's get something very tight, and I'll show you the. So for example, this guy is still 12%. So Life Insurance Corporation BBW is 8.6, right? So 8.6 Bollinger Band is like squeezed. ठीक है. तो ये जितना कम होएगा Bollinger Band, आपको पता चलेगा कि लास्ट 14 दिन में or sorry last 20 day में, because the time frame I'm using for BBW is 20 days. So last 20 days में it has become tighter and tighter, right? So it's a very good proxy for tightness. Okay. Although one might not need it because tightness is already visible. So that is BBW. R vol is basically relative volume. So relative volume क्या बोलता है कि so for example on this day, today the volume was lesser than the 10-day average. So 10-day average of the volume is this white line, right? So R vol is 77%. So volume today is only 77% of the last 10-day average volume, whereas on this day the relative volume was 200%. माने generally 10 दिन में जितना average है उससे दुगना volume इधर मिला. ठीक है. I'll quickly show you in the replay. You'll see the number here. So R vol देखिए 263%, right? So that is how you calculate कि volume कितना खतरनाक है. The more the relative volume, the better is the, and the more the relative volume and the price bullish, the better is the uh, whatever the price action, right? Then M cap हो गया, then ये free float हो गया. So sometimes the free float value is not correctly represented here. I don't know if it is correct for LICI, but sometimes they are not, right? So free float, as you guys already know what free float means. Free float is the percentage of shares which are available with the public and are readily tradable, right? So most of it is being held by people who don't sell much. So and then कौन से उसका है and क्या sector है क्या वो है, right? So that is the this one. Now there are some things which I did not explain here. That's called EXT from 20 SMA. So ये EXT from 20 SMA मतलब क्या है? Extended from 20 SMA, right? तो ये कितना extended from 20 SMA है? 0.63%, which means if if you if you see the close price today, that close price is not even 1% away from the 21 EMA. Okay, so this is from 20 SMA. My yellow color is 21 EMA, so 20 SMA would be a little bit higher than this. Okay, so 20 SMA is somewhere about here. Let's see if this is true. So I'll go there and 21 को 20 कर दूंगा, EMA को SMA बना दूंगा. Now we will have so if you see, okay, I made a huge mistake here. So price is 0.7% minus 0.7% away from the 20 SMA, right? So this is also minus 0.63% exactly. So what this tells you is that the more it is extended from 20 SMA or 20 EMA, whichever is fine, you know that the price is extended, okay? And whenever it becomes in, so I have a purple dot, sorry, not purple, a yellow dot indicator which fires up when here. So this is a yellow dot indicator. ये कब निकलता है? When the extension becomes more than 6x or 7, I think it's 6x right now. If the percentage extended from 21 SMA, so let's say on this day it fired up, तो 21 SMA से close price कितना है? Is 20% extended, right? So 20% extended is just a moment, I will explain this. So on this day extended from 20 SMA was 20%, right? So on this day ATR was how much? 2.89%. So 20 divided by 2.89 is 6.99 ATR, right? So 7 into 2.8 is around 20. So once the price becomes more than 6 times the ATR extended, because everything is cyclical, इतना extend हो गया तो फिर तो वापस आना ही है, right? It's like the concept of a mean reversion. So in my observation, anything which is higher than 6x or 7x the ATR comes back and snaps back to the mean, okay? And that is what I have. So for you that can be different. So here what you can do is you can change what is your R wall अभी 10 है SMA, तो आप SMA को ये you can change this the extension from 20 SMA you can also change this. So if you want to say नहीं मेरे को 20 SMA से extension देखना ही नहीं है, मेरे को किससे देखना है? मेरे को 50 SMA से देखना है, right? So यहाँ पे देखिए, now it has changed to extension from 50 SMA, because many people don't calculate extension from 50 SMA. Many people calculate it from 50, right? So that is where you can change it. I'll put it back to 20. Multiple for ATR 6, तो 6x से ज़्यादा होएगा तो ये चमकेगा. तो यहाँ पे देखिए चमक गया है. So that was 50. So for example, if I want to not let this come, so 7x probably this will go, because this is not now 7x, right? So you have to find the sweet spot. The for the names I trade, 6x 7x is what is good. Now the other thing is there are two colors of candles here. That's the most important thing, and which I have kept it for the last. Okay, there is one more thing. There is this purple sort of thing coming below. That's called the triple B. Triple B stands for buy before breakout signal. So generally whenever this signal comes, an uptrend is very near. तो यहाँ पे ये signal आया, यहाँ पे ये signal आया, फिर uptrend, ये signal आया uptrend, ये signal आया did not materialize. But generally this signal basically shows that on that day there is a subtle strength inside the base. So next day the probability of breakout uh, or or the move coming is higher, right? So if you see BSC had a very nice this one, whenever triple B came on BSC, it went up. It came here, it went up. Again, these things do not work in all this one stocks which it work once or twice, it will probably work better, right? So यहाँ पे क्या है, there are two triple B, they are both signaling the same thing. That's why better to color them the same way. And this extension जो ऊपर में yellow color आया था, you don't have to put it yellow. If you want to change, you can change it to whatever color you like. Now there are bar colors. Bar color 0, bar color 1, bar color 2. This bar color 2 doesn't mean anything. Bar color 0 is the color for your Homma khela hue candle. Okay. So for example, um, let's say there is a Homma khela hue candle here. Motilal Oswal had a Homma khela hue candle here, right? So if you change the bar color 1, you will probably change this color also. So for example, if you want to keep it black, तो black तो दिखेगा ही नहीं. Let's keep it like purple, right? So you see this is a purple color. Okay. um, so I like it white because I have a white black background, and it'll also come hollow. Okay. I don't know how to unhollow it. If someone knows, then you can please tell. I don't know how to unhollow it. So if it is hollow, then maybe use a color. If you are using a white background, then use a dark color so that there is a contrast. The next color one is basically for pocket pivots. If you see, there is another blue color here, blue color here. So these are very bullish candles, and sometimes what happens, breakout comes on a bullish candle. So KPI green, let's say. So KPI green here, although here it came, but the actual base breakout, which is the bigger base breakout here, it came on, it did not come on khela hue, but it came on the PP, which is pocket pivot, right? So I also want it to be marked, and I want to see that, hey, I want to see that how bullish was that day, right? So all bullish candles. So the difference between this and this is basically khela hue will only fire when there is a prior tightness, okay? Because it's not only a breakout candle, it's breaking out from a very less फ्रॉम ए वेरी लो रिस्क एरिया बस एक ही चीज़ देगा आपको अगर वो एक छोटा सा टाइट एरिया से बाहर निकल रहा है, वेर एज पी पीज डोंट हैव टू कम फ्रॉम टाइट एरिया. So they probably, I mean, even this guy is tight, but it's not as tight as this one uh, on the conditions I made. So this guy, the pocket pivot, is a blue color. Okay, so I have shown you almost everything that one can change here. So hopefully this is uh, there will be no confusion here, and please set it up according to what you like. You can set up exactly my settings, that also works. um, so so I'll take leave now. Thank you for coming, everyone, and if you guys have any question. Mohit, you have a question? Yes. So you go to style, and bar color में है ना, अयो not this. सो यू गो टू स्टाइल, एंड स्टाइल में आपका बार कलर है, तो बार कलर में वो जो कलर दिखा रहा है उस पर क्लिक कीजिए, एंड देन यू कैन क्लिक विच एवर कलर यू वांट नाउ. ओ बॉलिंजर बैंड. सो बॉलिंजर बैंड कलर, ओके, दिस इज अ लिटिल बिट ट्रिकी. I will have to take another. There is already a video somewhere. I can send you that, but if you want, then we will spend another day to see how to change Bollinger color. So I मैंने होम्मा एंड गेम के बारे में बिल्कुल बात नहीं किया आज. तो ये चीज़ मैं किसी और दिन दिखाऊंगा आपको. आई हैव टू गो नाउ. I am already 5 minutes late, but I promise that I will show you this some other day with more people who are interested to change this. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Mohit. Joyda, you